This thing looks absolutely amazing. Holy moly, that is absolutely amazing and super cool in the same time. Hello, what is up guys? I'm your host Gordon and welcome to another one of my video. What I got over here is something that looks absolutely amazing, really cool. Holy moly, this is a shell ejecting Kriss Vector Blaster, and this is not a flywheel blaster. This is one of those AEB style or a Stampede style shell ejecting blaster. Yes, I know the scale of the blaster is again a little bit at the funnier side, especially the buttstock part over here, but overall I think that this is a very cool blaster. This blaster is as cool as those who supported the channel. That's why it is very important for me to give these people a shout out. I will have to give a special thanks to Sir Days the V for super thanking for the first time in the comment section. Thank you for supporting the channel, and I will do my best to bring you guys more of these content. And of course, I will have to thank Overnate and KP for supporting the channel. If you guys want a shout out, leave as much comment in the comment section down below, and I will be picking a couple of you guys for a Saturday shout out. Just like how I will be giving Mac Potato a shout out for always sending me something cool like this one. Mac Potato is a local Malaysia online foam that blaster seller who sells rare imported foam that blaster. So if you guys wanted to get yourself one of these, the link will be provided in the description down below. In the box, we got the blaster itself, a buttstock, a fixed suppressor, a grip, a 12-round magazine, a pair of iron sight, battery and charger, a fixed scope, 10 shells, 20 darts, and a manual. To put in the buttstock, align the buttstock with the blaster and push it in place. Slide in the scope, the iron sight, the grip, and friction fit the fixed suppressor. The battery compartment is located under the grip. Open up the door, pull out the wire, connect the battery, put the battery in, and close the door. The shells that came with the blaster is a lot smaller than the regular shell ejecting blaster shells. Therefore, the darts that came with the blaster is a lot smaller than the regular half-length darts. This is how you put the darts into the shells, and this is how you put the shells into the magazine. Load in the mag, and this is how the blaster looks like with everything installed. Okay, first look at the blaster guys. So the aesthetic of the blaster is obviously a Kriss Vector aesthetic, and this one is probably the closest to an actual Kriss Vector, because the previous one that I've reviewed looks more of a sci-fi blaster. This over here looks more authentic. The build quality of the blaster is actually not bad. It is entirely made out of ABS plastic, and surprisingly enough, this blaster doesn't really have a lot of those plastic squeaks. Holding the blaster on hand, it actually feels pretty good. It's not particularly heavy, and shouldering the blaster is actually pretty comfortable. Just that the only weird thing about this blaster is probably the length of the buttstock, but I do really hope that we can get a slightly longer blaster, because this is just a little tight. And do you know what's funny? The design of the buttstock over here looks like a folding stock, but unfortunately this stock is pretty much fixed. You can't really adjust the length of the stock, you can't fold the stock. This is like one piece. Alright, back to the blaster. Holding the blaster on hand, I realized that the grip of the blaster is actually pretty decent. The trigger pull of the blaster is definitely one of those clicky switchy triggers. And speaking of that, the blaster comes with two firing mode, which is the manual mode and the auto mode. For the manual mode, it is actually pretty straightforward. You just have to prime the blaster and it will fire just one dart. Just like any of those manual shell ejecting blaster, you will just have to prime it over here, and it will eject the shell. I mean, seriously, I just can't get enough of these shell ejecting blasters. And here goes the full auto. Holy moly, this is so cool, man. Speaking of cool factor, the blaster comes with a lot of accessories. The first thing which you may already notice that is of course the fake scope over here. Yes, this scope looks absolutely cool if you try to, do something like a photo shooting or whatsoever, but I will never recommend to use this scope to aim. And thank God this blaster comes with a pair of iron sight, which is a much more reliable mechanism mechanism to aim. Other than those, the blaster also comes with a grip over here. In my opinion, it looks just okay. I personally prefer the blaster without the grip, but with the grip, it looks okay as well. It is basically personal preference. And speaking of personal preference, usually in these kind of blaster, I will never like to have one of those fake suppressor on my blaster, but this over here, it looks like as if this fake suppressor is basically made for this blaster. It actually looks pretty good. And one thing that you absolutely need to know is that these shells is tiny, so as the darts as well. The darts that came with the blaster is way smaller and thinner than a half-length dart, which means that this blaster over here uses a proprietary shell as well as proprietary darts. So make sure to get extra darts and extra shells for your blaster. The Picatinny rail situation is pretty straightforward for the blaster. We got a roll of Picatinny rail on top of the blaster, as well a roll of Picatinny rail at the bottom of the blaster for your grip of choice, or maybe some flashlight or laser if you are into that kind of thing. And one more thing that I have to talk about is the magazine release button, because it was located in a pretty awkward spot in my opinion. The magazine release button is located at the right hand side of the blaster. Yes, it is just the right hand side and it is not ambidextrous. As you can see, I can't really reach it with my finger. It's so far away. You will absolutely need your second hand to press on the mag release button in order to release the magazine. That's definitely very brutal for right-handed people, but I think for left-handed people, it's just okay. I guess this is a left-handed blaster. So yep, I guess that's all of the quirks and features of this really good looking Kriss Vector over here. So without further ado, let us go test the blaster out. Okay, we are back, guys. So as expected, these collector level, or I would say collector toy level blaster usually don't really do really good in terms of FPS numbers, but I would say it is a pretty decent number. The blaster over here can fire from 61 FPS all the way to 67 FPS. It is actually a not bad number. Given that this blaster is actually a toy that is made for children, definitely an acceptable number. The accuracy of the blaster is actually pretty good, given though that this is just a 5-meter blaster, but in 5-meter, hitting a target is definitely not a problem at all. So you definitely got yourself a really good looking target practicing blaster over here. So far, operating this blaster in full auto mode, I did not encounter any jams yet, which is a good thing, but in manual mode, I will encounter some jams once in a while in the shell ejecting department. Let me try to jam the blaster a bit. Yep, this is what I mean. But thankfully, it only happens once in a while. Other than that, everything functions smoothly and it works just fine. And seriously, this actually surprises me. In full auto mode, the shell ejecting works flawlessly. Seriously, absolutely flawlessly. But I'm pretty sure that those who get this blaster are into those automatic shell ejecting, so don't worry about it. So far, I'm having a lot of fun with this blaster. This blaster, of course, even passes the wall test over here if you decided to hang it on the wall. Not to mention that the color scheme of the blaster is absolutely amazing. And yep, I guess that's all of the blaster. If you guys like this video, feel free to smash the like button because it will help the channel a lot. Subscribe and ring the notification bell if you haven't already, because I will be posting these kind of videos every Saturday and maybe once in a while on Wednesday. And if you guys want a shout out, leave as much comment in the comment section and I will be picking a couple of you guys for a Saturday shout out. So yep, Gordon's checking out and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Adios, guys!